I'm so overwhelmed.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Thank you all so much for being here. I got the proof yesterday.
Yay.
It's
Woohoo.
311 pages. It's quite hefty. I didn't expect it to be this big. I have my dear friend Heidi here. She's helping me. She formatted the book and she's helping me help us get to bestseller hopefully tonight. So she's going to
Mm.
be, we're hoping to reach, we did our a launch this morning for people in Australia and Europe this morning, and we had a great turnout for that. And I want to introduce a lot of the co-authors that are here today. There's 36 in total. I think we should have something about 20 or so here tonight. And the amazing woman who I adore, who wrote the foreword for me, Christiane Northrup, Dr. Northrup is here. And I want to tell you, I can't begin to tell you how many people, especially the authors, were saying, "Oh my God, I have admired her for so many years, and I actually get to be in a book with her."
That's great.
So yeah, it was my Solveig Berg from Sweden was like beside herself. She had even mentioned you in her chapter,
That
and then I
makes so
told her
much
that you were
sense.
writing.
Uh, I forgot how busy Laguna is in the summer period.
Oh, we
Have a
need
wonderful
if
evening.
people can
I would
mute
really
unless
love to
they're
see you again soon! Exclamation.
there we go. All right. So, what is quantum and why this amazing book? About 2 years ago, I started doing a quantum healing. And my daughter said to me, "Mom, what is quantum?" And I was just like, how do I explain this to her? And so I thought the best way to explain to people what quantum is through story. And I started to think about all the people, my own personal stories in my life, about how I've manifested and working with energy medicine and all the amazing people that I know. So for people who are here, I'd love to find out where you're from. So if you want to post in the chat, let us know where you're from and welcome. So I started talking to all of these amazing people, and the book started, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And every time I talked to someone, someone would tell me their story. I'm like, you have to be in the book. No, you have to be in the book. And so I finally had to stop it at 36 authors. And there's some family friends here and people who I love who I haven't talked to in a long time. So grateful to see you all here. So, Christiane, I'd love to bring you on first because we've got a lot of authors. I want everyone to have an opportunity to really talk about why quantum and why it's so important now. So, Christian, why we are quantum, why this book, and what's the message that you'd like to bring out for people?
Well, the message is that there is a tremendous limitation in the way that Western medicine has been practiced. So people have been taught to believe that their healing depended on going to the right doctor or getting on the right drug. But when you realize that you are quantum, that you are in fact condensed light, and that you have around you a 6 foot biophotonic field made of plasma and ether, and that interacts with all the other fields, and that you have a great deal of agency within that to heal yourself. By the way, everyone, that is what Jesus taught. These things and more you shall do also. And so I have been deeply interested in the Bible because of the COVID thing, starting in 2020 when I first read Ephesians 6:12, which was we battle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities of darkness that are not of this world. It's not our job to fight them, it's our job to expose them as we're all being locked down. mandated, and neighbors are turning on neighbors. And I'm thinking, wow, now I know why that thing happened in Germany in the 1930s, because we all thought that was behind us. And I'm going to be in Omaha, Nebraska, August 20th to 21st with Dr. Lee Merritt, who's written a book called Escaping the Medical Matrix. But we are quantum. You're already out of the matrix. This is a book about what it's like to be out of the matrix and to have switched your paradigm, even out of functional medicine, so which is I call green allopathy, into this whole different realm where healing of everything is possible, and also non-local, so that what you do right here to be in touch with somebody else, to pray for someone else, is absolutely effective. And to have, and Lisa, to have so many different people weigh in, it's also the new paradigm of, empire, which is self-protection, self-promotion, to kingdom of God, which is there's enough for everybody, and everyone's got a unique piece of the whole. And that's what we're here to share. And you've done that by creating this collective of all of us, so that it's not a guru trip, folks. And if you think there's one guru out there who can heal you, you're just sort of missing the message of we are quantum, which is so empowering. So there you have it.
No, you touched on that so beautifully, because one of the things that I talk to people about is I don't heal anyone when I do my quantum healing work. I'm
Yeah.
holding space, helping people raise their vibration so they can heal themselves. And I think it's about taking responsibility and being sovereign. And the one theme that runs through the book, whether or not you are, religious in any way, or what your spiritual beliefs is, it's all about connecting to source, God, some kind of connection of believing in a higher power and surrendering.
Yeah.
It's also about releasing all of the stuff that we carry that no longer serves us, and how important that is for us to let go and to forgive. And when you get into that place, you get into that place of flow. And my hope for everyone in this book is that we have people who are well known, we are people who are not so well known. And I did that intentionally because I wanted people to understand that it's not for people who are just who are well known. This is for all of us. This is something that we can all do. And, there's people in here, and you're going to hear from them tonight, people who are animal communicators, people who talk to the plant kingdom, people who help manifest money. Everyone has their own different, unique way of manifesting and becoming sovereign in their own world. Carrie Madej unfortunately couldn't be here, but she was in a terrible plane crash, and she tells her story of how she healed herself. That she was told she would probably lose her legs and possibly not ever walk again. And there's several miracle stories about that in the book. One of the other things that I did is there's a landing page on the website. If you go into Lisa Schermerhorn Coaching, or Lisa Mindset, if you don't want to have to spell Schermerhorn, and on that page where it says books, we are quantum, you will see interviews with all 36 of the authors, and you'll get to know them in an incredibly deeper level. And that's free to everyone. So you can watch the videos, and then you have their stories in the book. So it's really quite beautiful. And I want to bring in some of the other authors, so give them about 2 or 3 minutes each for them to introduce themselves. And then there'll be some Q&A. So if people have questions, you're welcome to put them in the chat, and we will try and get to them. So, Christian, anything else you want to add?
This is the time. I mean, I don't know if everyone noticed what happened on Flag Day. Was it the 14th? I think it was. Enormous amount of things happened there, people. Um, there's an enormous thing happening now. We are ascending, and unfortunately or fortunately, a lot of people are dying. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah.
A lot. I've had 3 deaths close in the last week. And but we came for such a time as this. So, what I love about this group, because I can tell, there's no black pillars in this group. This is not the doom scroller group. These are the people who are holding the quantum frequency that we're moving into and that has been foretold, with Project Looking Glass and all the rest of it. And so, we've always known how it all works out. In the end, the light wins, and you're all holding that light. And we've all been tested in the crucible. That's what the last 6 years have been about, being tested like, iron turning into steel. And if you're here, you're the steel. Absolutely. So let's all congratulate ourselves. And we're creating this brand new quantum field, which is beautiful.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
sure.
So here we have a little bit of Brady Bunch here, you can see. So we have going on, and Chris, you had this big long flight. I'm so glad you made it. He just got in from Hawaii. So thank you so much for being here. I want to give everyone an opportunity, and Honey's fresh in from some dental surgery, so thank you so much for making it. I want to give everyone about 3 minutes to kind of introduce yourselves and tell a little bit about your story because I want to try and fit everyone in the short amount of time. So, let's see. Lisa, you're right next to me. I know you're muted. This is Lisa Williams, and she's a fellow Vermonter. And if you want to introduce yourselves, about 2 or 3 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, y'all. Thanks, Lisa. Oh, sorry. And sorry. And that's Rink introducing himself. Sorry. Hold on. All right. Sorry, guys. Rink, no. You want to go to someplace? You want to go to somebody else first?
Sure, she's got a very large dog in her room. Barry will go next. Oh, you're Barry, we can't hear you for some reason. All right. While you're figuring that out, Sophia, you want to go?
Yes, hello.
There you go.
Um, well, welcome everyone. I'm honored. My name is Sophia Eric. You can find me everywhere under my name. And I'm here to later introduce, however, Lisa ties that in, the community that we're now with which we're now supporting the quantum movement. My topic is quantum technology and everything that has to do with ethical AI and how do we figure this out. Is a very big topic for me, a very huge, beautiful topic. I believe there's a lot of divinity that needs to come through into technology and breathed into AI. However we call it in the future, maybe AI is not the right word. Um, it's more for me, we need to transition into organic, but that's another topic for another day. I'm just excited. I would rather listen. I'm like
Okay.
I'm just blessed. Thank you all for being here. I look forward to meeting every single one that wants to connect. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Eden. My
Hi.
dear friend Eden, you're eating again?
Yes, I am. Should I go into that at all, Lisa? Because that's
If
an
you
interesting way to
want, you
introduce
got
it.
3 minutes, but just to introduce Eden,
Yeah.
I met and she has a remarkable story. She had a near-death experience. She was in the hospital, misdiagnosed for cancer, but ended up having something pretty horrific anyway and survived. And now she's also a breatharian.
Uh-huh. Okay, thank you, Lisa. So yeah, I'm Eden Cause. My official title right now is Heaven on Earth Activator. So helping people move from the 3D to the 5D. So I am New Earth Eden. That's what I'm going to go by. So, hello. And I just, interesting, as we discover through all these things, truths and untruths, one of my big events recently was discovering that food and water are different than what we've been taught. So I went 4 days without food or water. A group of my initiates went 5 days, 8 days. Then 2 months and 2 weeks with only 100 to 300 calories per day. So, and then coming off of that, I had solid food for the first time just a couple weeks ago. So it was a liquid diet. So, learning how to assimilate nutrition from the air, from light versus from food and water. So, it has been groundbreaking. So, Lisa, thank you so much for having me here. So, all of this is friggin' quantum. We are going into the quantum world. It is so exciting, into the new earth. So, I'm so excited to be a part of this with everybody, with Chris, and hello. Okay. Do I need to say anything else? Is that good?
All right, I think you're good. And we
Okay.
want to make sure we get everyone in. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thank
being
you.
there.
That
All
was
right. Barry, do you have your no, you're I can't hear you. All
So
right.
Barry, why don't you leave and come back and I'll bring you on stage after.
Yeah, see if that works. Amelia, Prism Light Healer. Beautiful soul.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this, first of all. It's my first experience being published, so super excited. Um, I discovered my own form of quantum healing, which is not mine, but it just came to me over the last several years as I was learning more about healing, wellness. I'd been traditionally trained with functional nutrition and had the whole history of everything that led up to this. So I just think it's amazing how we can use the quantum to express our light, heal the light, restore the light back to the divine blueprint of who we are. So it's a living and breathing form of healing that's always changing and is conscious and is adapting for us always. And I love working with beautiful light souls and animals as well. So I took notes, but I always go off notes. So always. Um, so I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to take too much time either because I could go on for days about everything I have experienced and learned. But I think that's why we are always being told to keep shining because we are the
Yeah.
light, the divine light of source. And so it's time to keep shining.
Yeah. So again, everyone will get to read about your chapter in the book and see your interview on the landing page. So we'll get to know everyone even at a deeper level. Honey, hi.
Hi. So I love to do everything quantum. So I don't
Yeah.
like to talk about like just one thing. But I'm obsessed with the healing with quantum. I love to talk about quantum, show people what quantum actually is, teach people how to manifest their life. So everything to do with quantum is where I want to be. When I look at someone, I see their soul before I see them, and I know who I'm talking to. And I just love it, really. It's the main thing. That's where we're from, that's who we are. And I'm really excited how people are coming into this and realizing what's actually quantum and that we're quantum.
Yeah.
So that's about it, really.
Amazing. And Honey and I work together once a month. We do a group healing together. So our next healing is this Thursday. So if people are interested in that, you can sign up through my website or balancingbodyandsoul.com. And it's a really amazing group of people that we have. So thank you, Honey.
Thank you.
And Jennifer Allen. So Jennifer, I love this woman. She's the caretaker for everyone.
Yeah, again.
And she was my, I shouldn't say guinea pig, but she was the first person who really trusted in me when I first did this quantum healing that it was recommended because I said, anecdotally, I know people are feeling better from the healing, but how do I prove it? and she was willing to go have something called dark field microscopy done where she had her blood checked. We did the healing and then she went back and checked. So, Jennifer, yeah, welcome, and you can talk about your experience.
Well, it's funny because another story came to me rather than that. But
Yep.
anyway,
Well, you can tell that
so
too.
the dark blood microscopy, I worked with the Jacos and Carrie Madej, and everybody came and they all had their blood tested right afterwards. So they loved it too. So we have a lot of wonderful healers and special people that did because of Lisa and her prayer and a therapist that I worked with. Um, she's amazing. Your prayers are amazing, and I'm a believer.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
but I don't know why, but Dan Brown, wrote all these great books, and was told just now to talk about manifestation. Quantum is manifestation, and
Yeah.
I'm 78, so I've gone through life a lot longer than most all of you probably, but and I call myself Grandma Jen. So I just somehow I bump into anyone that God and I want to meet. And Dan Brown, I owned bookstores in Portsmouth, New Hampshire for years, and he wrote his books up there in Exeter. So anyway, I flew back about 15 years ago to see some friends. I live in Tampa, Florida, and one of them is a professor of women's studies in New Hampshire. And I was staying with her, and I said, "I'm going to see Dan Brown." She goes, "What do you mean you're going to see Dan Brown? He's going to be walking down the street. I'm going to bump into him, and I know I'm going to see him." And I was there for 2 days, 2 days. And she goes, "No, you're not." So then we met with another third friend of ours who had a lot of money, and she always paid for different people and helped people. And so we're having lunch, and my friend starts teasing about me. Can you believe Jennifer thinks she's going to meet Dan Brown? And Dottie turns to me and she says, Jen, that I always fund people, kids. And she had just put a Native American girl through Exeter Academy. And Dan Brown's parents taught there. And I knew that. And and I knew the manager of the bookstore there too. But anyway, she says, she's there and Dan Brown's giving a lecture tomorrow. Would you take her this book? I'm not kidding. And I go, okay. And my friend, the other one, Penny, says, I'm going too. I'm going too. So we went and we sit in this huge auditorium, and Penny goes right down front. I go, no, no, this is for the kids. We'll go to the side. And Dan announces, he said, I'll be in the bookstore, which I knew the woman that managed it because I was a bookstore owner. Anyway, he said, I'll be over there signing books. And I poked her and I said, nobody's going to go over there. These kids are so rich, they don't give a darn about Dan Brown or anybody else. We went over, there were 10 people there, and he signed every book and we talked, and I thanked him for what he was doing. So this is, I think, quantum. This is what I live with. My kids were brought up with being allowed to be psychic, intuitive, and they're all healers. They all
Knock it
like
out.
having fun. And my other life has been hospice for 40 years. So healing and working with people that walk through that veil. Okay, too much.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. But that is the synchronicities that happen in our lives are all about that. So thank you, Jen. Chris, I know you're probably a bit jet lagged, so we'll let you go. Welcome to the mainland.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yes, a few thousand miles from where I was yesterday. So, but no, it's all good. I'm Chris O'Connor, in case anybody doesn't know, and I have been doing talks and speaking for several years now about a number of topics. One of them is a very spiritual kind of perspective that I have been incredibly fortunate to remember, and that is through multiple lifetimes and working to bring some of that spiritual understanding to assist humanity right now, because so many of us have come here in this specific time, even though it's a tough time. It's a time of transition, and transition is like rebirth. It's messy, but it's so beautiful and absolutely worth the time that we're putting into it. I believe many of us are beings that are from other places, um, and and we're coming in to be of assistance to help the planet Earth and the human race during this time of evolutionary energetic uptick. And so it's just remarkable, and it's such an honor. It's a privilege, it's an honor, it's a duty, that we've come here for. And I'm just really thrilled to be a part of it and part of the book that you put together, Lisa. And I'm just thrilled to be here.
And Chris is also very humble, and he's a great inventor, and this is a very powerful magnet that does some healing, and I also believe it's interdimensional. So people can contact Chris about that. It's pretty remarkable. Um, it's called the Deems device, and you can go on YouTube and learn more about it. And there's more information in the book about it. So, all right. So we've gotten everyone here so
Can you just
far.
make me a host again? And
Yes.
thank
All
you.
right. Let
And
me
I'll
make
do your
you
switch. While
make
you do that,
host.
I'm gonna just give a quick little, can I do a
Yes.
commercial break for you?
Yes.
I'm really excited for tonight, and it's a huge honor to be able to be here with you guys. My name is Heidi Dunstan, and I've been helping Lisa and the team to format the book and tonight work to bring this book to bestseller status on Amazon, which is not an easy feat, and it's why you've all been invited here. And so, if you can, the way Amazon works and the way Amazon counts books is they count them within the hour for bestseller status. And so if you can, please go to your local amazon.ca.com, wherever you are, and order the book. I'll put a link in the chat. And if you order the book tonight, you will go on the link in the chat, put your name and email address in there and your Amazon order number, and you will get a free healing with Lisa, a group healing. I forget the date off the top of my head, Lisa.
It is July, that is it,
Yeah,
8th or the 9th?
yeah, somewhere in there.
Um,
And so you get to actually experience some of Lisa in action and be able to support her and many of the authors to make their dreams come true to become best-selling authors. So with that, we'll put the list of people together that are your next, and then I'll put those links in the chat, okay? Unless you've got the
yeah.
link handy.
What if you
No,
already ordered the book?
If you've already ordered the book, then just put your order number in and you'll get that healing.
yeah. And also from the standpoint of ordering, if you've ordered the book, yes, that does count. So I appreciate it. Just put your order number in. I'm doing a group healing. It's July 8th at 8 p.m. Hey, Laura and Kevin.
Sure.
So July 8th at 8 p.m. If you cannot make it, I will be sending out the recording so you'll have it. Um, so we've got some special people who are coming up here now. I want to introduce everyone. So Kevin, you're next here. Kevin and I had a business together for many years. He's a hypnotherapist and a master practitioner of NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and he has an incredible story of how he saved his son using NLP. And welcome, Kevin. It's so great to see you. I miss you.
Oh, I'm excited to be here, and thank you very much. I've been excited ever since I've been part of this project. This is fun and incredible. I cannot believe the meeting tonight. So thank you for having me here. Yes, I'm more on the for most of part, neuroscience, psychology, and things like that. That's how I do that with neuro linguistic programming. One of my main protocols. Um, I discovered this when I had a problem with my adopted son at 5.5 years old had lived in 7 houses before he moved into ours. And those problems he had from the abuse and the neglect and that stuff, they grew and grew and grew. And at 10 years old, he was put in an institution for behavioral problems for young people. And at 17 years old, they gave up on him and said, "There's nothing else we can do." Well,
Mm.
I had found this, and I had this belief that this thing called NLP would work, and I hired somebody. I started my training and hired somebody, and in 3 5-hour sessions in 1 week, his laundry list of all the problems, all the diagnoses went away. Starting with PTSD and almost everything that ended with a D, if I remember right. Um, I said to myself, I want to be healing people like this. I want to create miracles in people's lives like this. So immediately I went and finished my training, and I started as quickly as I could. And I feel blessed to have spent the last 20 years healing people. It is just, I still get passionate. And Lisa knows when we talk about things like that. I still get really passionate about what I do and what it does for people. On the quantum level, there's a word we haven't used yet tonight. A really funny word to say, ho'oponopono. I have used ho'oponopono not just for the law of attraction, but for spiritual forgiveness. And I use it for prayers. Matter of fact, I do things that I tell all my clients, hey, you shouldn't watch the news. I watch the news because everything that I see that goes wrong, I say a prayer and I say Ho'oponopono as well. And so there is definitely a quantum link to everything that I do. Uh, I feel the love from all my clients. The second they walk in, I can detect something that attracts me, and that's at the quantum level. And then I use the things in neuroscience that I know work, and I help them become the people they want to be. That's what I
Mm.
love being
And
here.
tell them what happened with your son.
Oh,
Mm.
my in those 3 5-hour sessions, everything went away. He was 17 years old at the time. He's turning 37 this year, and he's adopting a 12-year-old. And so,
Wow.
yeah, a great circle. Uh,
Oh.
it's just wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kevin. I so
Yeah.
appreciate you, and thank you for telling your story.
Um,
Laura, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you who don't know her, Laura Eisenhower, she's the great granddaughter of President Dwight D. Eisenhower. She's been involved in many things. She has her really unique form of astrology that she works with. She's also done a lot of work with the UFO community. We have two amazing astrologers here, and I know Richard, you dabble in that too. So we have three. But Laura, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and thank you so much for being here.
I am so thrilled to be here with all of you. It's incredible to be a part of this project. I'm so excited because it couldn't be better timing. I mean, it's so important that we come together and empower these beautiful conversations and just how this is going to shift everything in our reality because it's the most familiar thing inside of us. And I really feel that we've been so taught to fear the things that are trying to bring us closer to home, closer to our soul. Because, I mean, it's not always comfortable. We go through a lot of different upheavals in life and growth periods and initiations that throw us into things like the dark night of the soul or into um, anxiety or trauma loops that really are helping us open up to downloads and epiphanies and synchronicities that are helping to take us to the next level to experience um, higher versions of ourselves, even though it has to take us into a deeper process in order to get there. But yeah, so what I like to share about and what my chapter and contribution in We Are Quantum is about is exploring the relationship between the zodiac, our DNA, epigenetics, planetary grid network, and the sophionic corrections that are moving through Earth that we're all a part of. And in this context, the sophionic energy represents the living wisdom of Mother Earth, the divine feminine intelligence in union with the masculine divine masculine, and how that's our divine blueprint. And when we look at inversion and programmings and psyops and false flags, it's really leveraging the planetary alignments in our own zodiac natal charts, progressions, and transits. It's really throwing it into inversions and programmings and engineered events in order to continue to harvest and siphon our energy to battery up artificial timelines. And when we allow ourselves to move through the challenges and adversities of life and recognize what's engineered versus what's organic and find ourselves in the process, getting, more acquainted with the self-knowledge, we can really begin to alchemize the toxicity, because alchemy is a law of creation. It connects with the ether connects with our mitochondrial DNA, and what's happening on a planetary alignment level is giving us everything that we need in order to really bring that quintessence into our bodies, through how the mind connects with our higher self and actually what's truly happening. And so, when we change the dialogue from what is coming at us externally to what's flowing through us organically and from within, and creating that direct connect signal, which is always there, but clearing it so that we can actually experience it to the full. It's amazing what's taking place. And what I'm seeing is, like this divorce with this vampiric system, in the same way that we would want to break up with a partner that's not healthy for us, that's stealing our energy, that's using it to battery up its own timeline of domination and control and exploitation of our vulnerabilities and our good intent. So that's the quantum part of it, is that what we experience in our micro world, what's happening on the planet, and the macro sense of it all, is creating more hospitality for the planetary vessel and our physical vessel for our soul to fully inhabit, and then open up to the multidimensional nature of things, which restores the tree of life. And so, yeah, I just love delving into that and the interconnectedness of it all, how the Venus transits have created the correction to pull the inversion of what we see in symbolism of the dark cults and Satanism, how the Venus transits have brought it upright again. So that ether element is flowing through our system, the nucleic acids of our DNA being purified, and that the earth responds to this process in us, showing us that we're ascending and the earth is mirroring it back. When we can collapse those inversions and begin to recognize that this is encoded in us. It's the most natural thing to move into these upgrades and transformation. Everything else is just hijacking the process for its own benefit. And that's why I look at it like a breakup, because when we divorce that, sacred union and the true relationship with creation is what we will discover. And it's within us to discover, and it's within all of us to remind each other and hold each other's hands in this beautiful process that we're all undertaking.
Wow. Thank you so much, Laura. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I love whenever you talk, it's like this brilliance just gets downloaded and oh my God.
Oh, you're
And
so sweet.
thank you so much, so much. So next I want to go on to Z. Um, Z is also she's an amazing healer. I met her through Honey, and what a remarkable woman. So, and you want to talk about people there are a lot of people in this book who have overcome great adversity, and Z is one of them. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, everybody, I'm so excited with what I'm seeing right now. With this connection with everybody, bringing quantum out into this new space and being able to interact with you guys. Thank you so much, Lisa, for bringing us together. Um, my story heads into, I came in with multidimensional remembrance right from the beginning. And having that piece of it and then coming into this lovely reality where there was so much of dark systems and games being played that we all didn't really want in the space. My story in the chapter takes me through the remembrance and then through running through 13 years of really elite trafficking in dark systems and understanding what I was here for to break those and move those out of the space. And then my process after that of coming into myself, my healing, and really my passion in all of this and what I want to bring to everybody is the remembrance part of it and being able to hold the divine blueprint all the way through the programming into the space where we're at now. That's my absolute passion, all this. So
Wow.
thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, next. We've got Lori Daniel Falk. Lori and I met a little over a year ago, and she is remarkable. She is an artist. She channels angels, and she can explain that. And she's also got some other projects that she does with art. But Lori, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Lisa, I can't even tell you. I'm so grateful I said yes to Ken Close when he said, come to DC with me. Meeting you and Sophia and that whole experience was incredible. And now here we are. Pinch me. I can't even believe I'm in the room with all these people. This is incredible. So thank you for inviting me to be part of this amazing project. So just a little bit about me. I'm a visionary artist, an epigenetic emotional healing coach, and the founder of the Art of Healing Initiative. The chapter that I wrote for We Are Quantum is Art as a Portal to Quantum Healing. Now, here's the crazy part. I never wanted to be an artist. I never had any notion of being an artist. I never had any dreams of being an artist, but I was divinely guided. Like Laura mentioned, the dark night of the soul. I was in the middle of a dark night of the soul, and I got down on my hands and knees and I just prayed to God, show me what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Show me. And I was divinely guided to draw. And that's all they said. Draw, Lori, please draw. Now, okay, so if you don't know that you want to be an artist and you have no idea about art and you're being told to draw, what are you going to draw? Well, that made me listen. I had been teaching angel communication classes for quite some time and did what I was teaching my students to do, listen. I asked the questions and I listened. And essentially, I just take automatic dictation with chalk. I sit down with a blank canvas. I ask a question either for the world or for a specific client. And then I'm shown what colors to use, what shapes to put on the page. And these angels that emerge are nothing short of incredible. And here's the irony of this whole piece. I don't even have one to show you because they're all in boxes because I'm literally in the middle of a move. This is my second day in this place. Nothing's unpacked yet, but I'm here. So you can go to loridanielfalk.art and you'll find oodles and oodles of those angels. What amazed me the most, though, wasn't that I became an artist. What amazed me was the healings that started to occur within my clients. And I could see it, I could feel it, I could sense it, and they were telling me all these incredible things that were happening to them. And it didn't make a lot of sense. I'm very pragmatic, type A Capricorn. None of it made sense to me. But what ended up happening was I started studying with Dr. Bruce Lipton and started to learn about the science of epigenetics. And once I got that piece, it all made sense because this art was an epigenetic emotional healing tool. All art actually is. And being the person that I am, I couldn't just stop there. I had to take it bigger. So now I have actually created the Art of Healing Initiative, which is a donor-sponsored program to get art into hospitals and medical centers. Because what science has shown us in the last decade or two is that you can take healing rates from 40% up to 70% just through the use of the proper environment. And art puts you into a space, the same space that meditation and prayer puts you into. That's when the sympathetic nervous system is calm. That's when the body can heal. And just imagine going into a medical center and instead of looking at blank walls, instead of worrying about everything, you're just drawn into this beautiful piece of artwork that's calming your soul, that's soothing your nerves, that's calming the energy of all the staff on top of all of that. So what started as a message from God to draw has become a mission, an initiative. And I invite all of you to enjoy this book and to remember this. The greatest masterpiece any of us will ever create is not a painting, a business, or even a book. It is the environment we create for healing within ourselves and for one another.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, next I'm following the the grid here. Next, I see Deborah Guerrero. Deborah, you look beautiful. I know you just were very,
Thank you.
very sick, so I'm so grateful that you're
I
here.
have never, I'm 60, been like that ever in life. Food poisoning, that was something, but I'm here and I'm so grateful and honored to be with everyone here. Like I am pinching myself.
So Deborah and I met through the movie Zero Limits with Dr. Joe Vitale. She actually studied with Dr. Hugh Lin in Hawaii, for those of you who know the story, but I'd love for you to talk about the Ho'oponopono and how it influenced you in your life.
Thanks. Well, actually, it was Austin. I was at the very first one. We
Oh,
had
okay.
literally less than a 2 week notice. Joe Vitale had just met him, got the PI. So it came together very quickly. So there was literally about 50 people in that room. And a very funny story with Dr. Hulan. He was a character. He loved to laugh. You know, he had those Seaport energy pens, and I wanted one. I kept waiting, and I thought, well, I'm not going to order one. I want one when he gets here. And when he did, I said, Dr. Lynn, when are you going to bring your product out? And by the way, I always serve everywhere I go. That's how I was the first person certified. That's why I was on this list, because every event Joe had, I served at. Well, Dr. Hulin stood up and he laughed and he said, I don't have any, but he undid his pants at the
Oh,
dinner table.
that's
And
why.
inside his trousers, he had a Seaport pin. And he said, I'll give this to you if you shut up and let me eat. He was laughing. He was talking as more than I was. It was just wonderful. But I was so drawn to that. And in the filming with Zero Limits, Joe Vitale asked me, when did you connect with Ho'opono? I said, Joe, look back at the movie. Truly, when Dr. Hulin moved, and I was in the first row, first seat, being that I served, I didn't care. I stood up and followed him, like not physically, but I would have with my eyes. I mean, I was just that locked. But as a minister and working in the healing, I mean, I was that weird kid. At second grade, I asked the preacher to teach me how to float like Jesus. He couldn't. Third grade, I asked him to teach me how to walk on water. He couldn't. I then asked him how he got that job because he didn't seem to be very qualified. In fourth grade, I have an earache for the third time that year. And the doctor says, well, you need ear medicine. I thought, well, like he went to school for that one. And I looked right at him and I said, your problem is you're trying to fix a physical and I'm a spirit. And that was one of the 150th and not 1,000th time my mother said, now, Deborah, not here, stop. And I said, no, you need to wake up. I knew the quantum that we walked in. Doctor, I love what you said about for such a time as this. I absolutely knew 3 years ago I'm walking into such a time at this. You know, we laugh at talking about quantum, the flower of life, all of that. We'll be talking about that 25 years ago. And I was blessed to work with Dr. Emoto and Bruce Lipton, and I was absolutely called the witch in church, and it would break my spirit and my heart. Now, when they say that, I'm like, thank you, because I don't want to look dead like you guys. Don't want to look dead like you guys. Absolutely. Put me up on there because I love it. And by the way, we do create everything we desire if we focus on it. I have Greg Braden 3 times on my vision board. I have no man on there more than once, except for Greg Braden, because I tell the I am, Yeshua, and all of my angels, and I have a legion of them every day, go get him. I was given Greg Braden's phone number, cell number, roughly a month ago. So I tell everyone, go create, and go create. We're here to work and help one another. And my big passion in life is to teach everyone how to make a profit paying their bills. Money it moves, it loves speed. And it's time we all have abundance of it.
Wow. Thank you, Deborah, so much. And next we have Ken Close. Ken is an engineer, amazing, brilliant. He also works with, he has these healing center that he is a Cora effect. And he'll tell you all about his specialty. He's quite brilliant. So I'm excited for all of you to hear what he has to say.
Well, thank you, Lisa. And as many of you have said, I'm also honored to be here amongst brilliance and grace and beauty. And as Lisa said, I'm Ken Close. My background is in engineering, and it's been said, and I'll try to keep this as concise as possible because it's been said that for those of you that might be the Cliff Notes, I'm the documentary. So I'll be careful in making sure that I shorten things up a bit. I'm a, at heart an engineer, and for all of my life, I've been kind of really drawn to how things work, right? And I saw things through an engineered lens. I didn't know that at the time because I was, from my earliest remembrance, four, taking things apart and figuring out how they work. And that was the biggest and most fascinating thing I could ever think of was how systems, signals, mechanics, electronics, how things work, and that was my biggest question. And this internal belief started to build inside of me, and I can remember this, that growing up, I fixed everything. And I came to believe that if I can't fix it, it's just not broken, right? And it wasn't an ego thing, but it was something that overcame fear. I was really not afraid to tear into something, to figure it out, and to really reverse engineer all the way down to the dirt of how something functions. And everyone here has that fundamental insert within them, and then giving that content to the world within that understanding, that reverse engineering all the way back to the dirt. So for decades, I looked at designs and inventions, and I created things. I wrote things down in a notebook, on paper, on big plans, and I later on, because I rolled it up and I now call it my invention scroll. Um, Years later, I opened that scroll and I looked at it, and it's like every single one of those creations existed in our world today. And that taught me something. It says, that an idea, think about this, is it a gift from God? It's a gift from source. It's from the quantum field, that an idea that comes through your consciousness, your awareness, because of your talents, because of your skills, because of your specialities, that needs to happen in the world today, right? And so if you take that and act upon it, it becomes something that the world needs. And this is what I did this for so long, ignoring that idea, putting things into the scroll. And finally, I said, no, stop that. We're not going to do that anymore. And I started to take a look at how these bodies work. I'm an engineer. I did study epigenetics, neuroscience, the creation of the quantum field, and what that means. And so, based on that, I melded the word together called epigeneer, how we can orchestrate this genetic coding into physical form. And that is really the fundamental way in which that happens is a signal. And if we can work the signal, we can have an influence on biology. And that was the birth of Quora effect, which is how we take high amplitudes of information, right? Light, sound, vibration, microcurrent, good oxygen, hydrogen, all these things that are very useful to the body in high amplitudes of influence, right? And give that signal to the body in a very short period of time and watch biology respond in a very favorable way. I don't believe that the body's broken. I believe that the body is extremely brilliant. It's always listening, it's always adapting, it's always communicating, and it's constantly responding to information it receives, aka environment. And so when we engineer an environment that gives proper balanced signals, or engineered signals, then we can start having a big influence on biology. And that's where my chapter in the book called The Engineer Meets the Field is a story about how that happened and the process. Again, the step-by-step realization from my experiences in life, yet an engineering spin, an algorithm, a flow chart, right? An equation. I'm not taking you to math school, but what I'm saying is it gives real content around biological and physical and environmental influences that every one of you, I guarantee you, when someone sees the chapter, you'll see, yeah, I've done that before and didn't look at it from that perspective, or did look at it from that perspective and didn't write down what it did in the biology. So I'm super grateful to be on this mission with all of you. My mission is pretty simple, even though the path continues to expand, and it is to heal the world. And every one of you I know are in that similar boat, right? And we're contributing to each other in a community form and to make a really deep impact as to what happens over the next decade. So buckle up. I always say this when I'm working with folks, buckle up, put on your helmet, because it's going to be a heck of a quantum ride. So thanks for letting me
I
be here,
love
you
that.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you. So next in line, I see my fellow Vermonter friend Kelly Hunter, also extraordinaire astrologist extraordinaire. She has her own unique form of astrology. Kelly, you want to talk a little bit about your chapter and the quantum, or you can talk about something else.
Oh, I want to be in the quantum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been an astrologer. Well, I've been studying since 1967. So that's way older than some of you. And um, I love this intuitive science. And it is a very strong language of the soul, of living archetypes, of energies. And we are in communication with them. It's a living dialogue with these energies. They just aren't like physical bodies. They are living archetypal energies that are part of our makeup and part of our communication with the cosmos, as Laura knows, and she said. So I've found my own path through astrology, but mainly I've learned from the clients because I've learned to be more and more present with the person and follow them around their chart and work with them. And then I've got into some special dimensions of astrology, including the cosmic feminine, the divine feminine, which I wrote some books on Lilith, which is a multifaceted energy in astrology. But especially the black moon caught my interest because it is something very deep in our soul energy field that I'm learning more about now through some ancient Vedic teachings. And I'm connecting the black moon to some extent with the what they call the holy womb chakra, which is where the divine mother puts our soul spark through every lifetime. So that's one of the things I continue to study because you just don't take the black moon for granted. It is a deep, like soul essence that is going to bust your ego bad if you come from it, if you're in your superficial self. So then I got really excited by some of the new discoveries just since the new millennium in the far solar system past Pluto. That's been our farthest, kind of semi-planet in a way for quite a while. So I got interested in this field called the Kuiper Belt. And Pluto is actually the first of the discovered Kuiper Belt objects, but they didn't call it that. And then they started discovering so many more. And they kind of knew they were going to run out of Greco-Roman mythology names. So they started naming them for indigenous creator gods from around the world, from all sorts of different cultures, Hawaii, um, India, Lithuania, the Inuit people, Easter Island, so many. And I was thrilled because it takes us out of the Greco-Roman paradigm that we've been using for so long in astrology. And we have these new energies arising in this far out field that I started thinking about as quantum, not even totally knowing what quantum was. And still exploring the wildness of the synchronicities that happen in life. And so I've been putting them into chart work and talking about them a lot. I'm very hesitant to get too interpretational. It's more like I'm learning from the people I'm talking with when I mention it and talk about the stories, the mythological stories that are associated with these living archetypes. And these might be where we can plug into the quantum field in a way because they are creator beings from these all these different cultures. And so they're creator beings. So they're taking the energy that they see in the what might be called the etheric field. And in Buddhism, they talk about material ether and non-material ether. So it's the liminal space through which what we intend or what we imagine can be brought into physicality. So I'm thinking of these, there are quite a lot of them now. They're often called dwarf planets or Kuiper Belt objects or trans-Neptunian objects, but they are another level of consciousness beyond what have that beyond what we've so far had to work with in astrology. And so, and there's so many facets to astrology, but this is the one I've gotten really into and which I wrote about in the book. So, so that thrills me. I'm excited and I'm delighted to be able to introduce this aspect of astrology some more. There's so many aspects of astrology. Laura mentions one and Richard might too, but you know, there's galactic astrology and all the stars that we are from, the solar systems, but the galactic is, you know, and the quantum is alive in the cosmos, and we can connect with it.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kelly. And my dear friend next, Richard, who comes from the north. He's just north of me in Montreal. And his chapter is quite vulnerable and he's been through a
Yes.
lot in his life, and I so appreciate his story and what he's been through. And he uses the tarot
Yes.
especially, and if you start getting in a conversation with him, it's just amazing to hear him. Just he'll tell you about your entire life right there. So Richard, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, baby, I have to say, first and foremost, bravo, mi amor. This is your celebration day. You have such an army. If we can look at like an army of archangels and dragons all supporting and swimming and flying around you. This is Lisa. This is Quantum. Pay attention. Gaia has arisen. And Lisa is the voice to help all the voices of your army come up. You're all very interested. Interesting. Sorry, I'm French. Laura, it's a pleasure to meet you. I've been wanting to see you for a very long time, baby. You rock. All right, and it's so good. You have a lot of angelics around you, Lori, because I was looking at you and I saw the angels around you. Like, this is what I do. So I'm sorry. I know. Oh, baby Kelly, that was beautiful, but I don't do astrology, but I do love you. And I
I
don't do
said you did. That
astrology.
was my fault.
I don't do astrology. Guys, what can I say? I'm gonna try to make it fast. You know, Uncle Freaky here. Say, come. I love to blabber. I can't help myself. My higher self comes in, and so I'm gonna try to make it fast. I don't have a big story. Yes, you know, it's like my education is like streetwise. I was hairdresser turned to a fetish model, turned to a Hollywood actor making horror movies, and a producer of B movies. But I was always very spiritual. So when it comes to quantum, I don't really know what to say about quantum. When I was born, I saw fairies. I was rocked by a Sasquatch. I saw Odin, the god of, I think it's Odin, the god of air, like looking at me in my window. So I've always been connecting. And to me, it was my normality. But when I'd explain to the grown-ups, they go like, you're dreaming or make believe feel. So I knew I'm not crazy. So I'm just going to zipit.com and keep it to myself because I did not want to have it corrupted. So I'm not from this dimension. Good looking as I am for my seasoned age, wink, wink. But this is it, it's like I volunteered here. Whatever quantum means, I think quantum is very different to everyone. But quantum is a reality where wonder is allowed to exist. That's how I see it, allowed to exist. Dream, inner child. Like break, smash that mind control. Laura, you're going to love that. Break the boob tube. Okay, smash it. Okay, north, east, south, west, break it, break it. This like broadcast doesn't make sense anymore. We are arising, we are awakening. Gaia is the most beautiful, sexy, sultry. And when I say sultry, I'm not sexualizing, so I don't want to hear that in the comments. She is vavavoom, perfect femininity, and she has arisen. This is a new day. This is a new dawn. I'm the new kid on the block, babies. I've only had a YouTube channel for what, not even 2 years. But I'll tell you what, I listen thanks to Honey. Honey Golden, our sister, my sister, our sister, she made me understand what a higher self was. Because I thought, like, I did not know what these images. I don't hear voices. I get like Polaroids and then like Sharpie, like this. This is what I get like in my inner mind. So decipher this. What is this? Since I'm a child, it's my higher self. And once I surrendered, had the leap of faith, say, all right, it resonates. This is true. This is love. I'm gonna jump into the pool of sharks and I won't be bit. The end.
It's always an adventure with you, Richard. Thank you so much. We still have a whole bunch of more authors that I want to get to because I would love for you to go on. But thank you so much. Oh my
I
gosh.
love you.
I love you too. Hope to see you soon. And now we have, let's see, Alicia coming in, Dr. Alicia Main. She has an amazing story. She communicates with the horses. And she has a really amazing story about was it wild mustangs? And she's also studied Qigong and a number of other modalities that have really saved her life and changed her life. So welcome, Alicia.
You so much. It's hard to follow Richard.
I
know. I'll try my best. Yes, so the mission that I serve in this world is working with animals, communicating with them. I did not intend, I wanted to be a veterinarian, but math and science came in and I was like, there is no shot because I didn't understand math and science the way they taught it. And things about quantum were like, that's for the really smart people. So eventually I became a fitness trainer and one of my clients became my spiritual mom. And I got introduced to chiropractic care and to acupuncture and Qigong and macrobiotic cooking. And the Qigong practice was not on my bucket list. I somewhere maybe it was on my spiritual bucket list, but not that I remembered. So as I practiced more, what I realized was, oh my God, Qigong is the quantum. Like you can actually experience the unified field through your own body. And I was told by another friend I have to go to Hawaii, and I went and I swam with the dolphins, and a dolphin kind of beamed me with energy, and it just changed my entire life. And since that time, I've been studying the quantum with the animals primarily. They've been my teachers because they're such incredible gurus of the quantum. They live in the quantum all the time. And so what they were able to help me remember was the quantum, it's a 360-degree immersion. We usually live at like 10%. And a lot of what we do with medicine, a lot of what we do with trying to explain how we're here, we keep breaking it down. We keep reducing it and reducing it and reducing it. And they kept leading me into the macro. So I started doing, they instructed me how to create a healing system called the In-Sync Body Assessment and fascia release technique. And they started educating me about fascia, but not from a book that like pulled apart all these pieces and sections of fascia. they had me working on them over long distances. So I've been pioneering research working with animals, and I did my PhD research with 27 formerly wild Mustangs via Zoom at distances of about 2,000 miles away, because they instructed me how to do the PhD, and they wanted people to understand, especially, humans that have animals, if you address the fascia tissue, which is basically the internet of the entire system, we start to have, kind of like the yin and the yang. So a lot of our Western sciences are the micro, and then the quantum that they're bringing in and teaching me and sharing with me, that I get to share with clients and teach others how to work with, is the macro. So you have the yin and the yang together. And when I listen, to incredible researchers that are telling us about all of these specifics and the micro, and like what Ken was saying about the engineering, and then what Laura was saying about the bigger picture, it's like, yes, like all of this actually happens in a 360-degree experience. And whether we know the micro or we don't, whether we know the macro or we don't, we're actually part of this quantum soup. We're basically there's the quantum soup, and we're basically the alphabets in the quantum soup. So my research is, I've got hundreds and hundreds of case studies working with animals over long distances and humans, showing in real time that when we address the fascia tissue as the communication system of the quantum between the body and the universe, how fast everything can heal. And it's been fascinating because it is doing quantum physics. And I remember, in junior high school, I was like, that's the really smart people. And now I talk to physicists and they're like, we understand what you're talking about, but it's actually even beyond what we can prove. And I was like, I know, that's why the animals said record every session so you can see it live and in real time. And I created a quantum healing lab that I usually run once a week, where we work with an animal. I have no idea who the animal is, what their issues are. And we just watch together as I do the in-sync body assessment and fascia release, how quantum is actually happening even over thousands of miles away. And animals have no placebo effect. So it's been pretty fascinating. And so that's what my chapter is, and how I use telepathic communication, not to just say, hey, who's your favorite parent or what's your favorite ball, but like, okay, what's taking place here in this interaction between, the macro and the micro, and the animals have been brilliant at sharing what they know. So I'm honored to be here amongst such esteemed colleagues and people, and look forward to getting to know everybody.
Thank you, Alicia, so much.
Thank you.
Next we have Barry. Hopefully, do you have your sound working now?
Does it work now?
Yes.
Oh,
Yay, we
good.
can hear you.
Yeah, I
Okay.
switched over to my phone. I was like, I don't know, some symbol on my computer.
Is
Hello,
my sound
everybody.
on?
Whoops.
Pardon me?
No, someone.
Is my sound on?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so something happened. There's a twitch in the universe of the matrix of the split. Somehow I saw that I was on, so maybe you want to turn me. It was beautiful what you said, Alicia. Maybe you want to turn me off because it's for Barry, the queen, the artist goddess.
Why, thank you. Okay, so can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, it's wonderful to listen to everybody and hear your brief experiences in your lives. And Lisa, you've done such an incredible job putting all this together. So once again, I want to thank you for this. I would say that first of all, this is a family. We are definitely gathering, and I just love that we're all here tonight. So I take my life from beauty. I realize, it's something that I notice all the time. I just notice things because I was brought up, in the book, I talk about how I was brought up, my family built ski areas, and I was very fortunate to have a lot of land to play on, and it was in a valley. Yes, I had a lot of people there during the winter where people would come because my mom was a New Yorker, so we had a lot of people that would come and ski. And so I was around a lot of people, but I also was a loner. And I spent a lot of time alone, and I was in the woods a lot. I would swing on, really swings that would go out 40 feet over a road with a car going underneath, and I'd be waving. There was not a lot of fear. And I kind of reflect back on that. And I think what it was that I just always knew that I could do anything if I just thought about it, and that I used the word belief. And so a very defining point in my life was my sister was a photographer, and we had horses. And so she would photograph the horses, and then she'd come in and she would develop in this little dark room. And so I'd sit up against the wall because you know how dark rooms are. They can be really small when you have homemade ones. And I would just sit there. This was back when it was all analog photography, if that's what they call it now. To me, it was photography with black and white, because I started photography a long time ago. And I would just sit there and watch how life, beauty would come to life. And I was amazed. And my father saw that in me. So it was my 10th birthday, and he surprised me with an old Kowa camera. It was a German-made camera, and he gave it to me, and I started crying, and I lifted it up, and back then it was leather underneath. So I'd smell the leather, and then I'd twist the zoom lens, and I just started to cry, and I said, Dad, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, and I thank you, because I know I have a remembering. This is me. There's something that I remember. It was so clear to me. My art is so clear to me. And I excelled in art classes and sports. So those were the things that interest me. And I tried to do everything I could to skip all the other classes, like physics and things like that. So anyway, I told my dad I was going to do that, photograph ski racing around the world. So 16 years later, that is what I did. I photographed World Cup ski racing and snowboarding around the world with the US ski and snowboard team. And it was just, I was living my dream. And I said those words as a young girl. And I said those words just when I was in the forest with the animals. I had my whole life in these forests, building villages and just being a loner and enjoying my life. And then the whole tribe of people would come, and I'd have to be sociable. And then I'd go back to my world. So I also was a wedding photographer, which proved to be very helpful because I knew how to interact with adults and people. And my mother gave me that trait. She was, like I said, a New Yorker, and had a lot of friends in New York. So we had both worlds. So anyway, yeah, it was a really defining point in my life. And I talk about that in the book. And I just talk about gratitude, and everything just looks beautiful to me. I spend a lot of time in nature, though. I'm not in cities anymore. So anyway, that is a bit of my story, and I'm so appreciative of the audience being here too, and my family. So thank you.
Thank you.
And
And
I
I
am
want
a
to,
professional photographer for 55
yeah.
years. It's what I've always done. And I'm an artist and do a lot with art, and teaching art with mixed media and all sorts of things. Anytime I can get my hands in paint or any kind of technical tool that I can continue on mixed media with, it's fascinating and fun. So I definitely know when time is just fading away because the hours go by. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And Barry is an extraordinary photographer and artist. And, you can understand how in the quantum, how it works when you could stand next to someone and both of you try to take a photo of the same tree, and her photo looks completely different than mine.
You know what is it? One thing I would like to say too is how we are, to me, I believe, moving into the crystalline and the quantum, and everything's rising. And I just feel I spent the last like 2 weeks up a lot of nights because I'm trying to complete a new website. And I'm not even tired. It's bizarre. Normally I get really tired, but I haven't been tired, and I'm starting to notice those part of the physical. And I always knew I could heal myself. I just knew I've never taken a lot of anything. So anyway, yeah.
Awesome.
Shine on.
Thank you. Shine
Yeah.
on. All right. Next in the box is my dear friend, fellow Vermonter, Liz Perkins. And Liz does an amazing job in the book how she talks about, first of all, she lives off the land and she has an incredible farm. And she talks about how she started communicating with the plant kingdom. And I want to bring in Liz. She's really special. And thank you so much for being here, Liz.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Lisa. This is incredible, and I'm feeling so emotional. What an amazing energy like you have created, bringing all of us together to talk about these topics. It's amazing. So thank you. And I'm just going to keep it really short. Feeling a little shy tonight, but I wanted to say that, in the quantum, you can talk to the trees. And a lot of it is because they have the mycelium, which are, I guess, like the fascia. They communicate with our fascia, which is so cool. So you can either go to trees and ask them, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I feeling this way or whatever? And they'll give you the answer. You can hear it. But another way to think about it is a lot of people here are talking about healing the world. Let's love the trees. Go to your favorite tree and ask the tree like how it's doing and just see if it's like, say, hey, how are your leaves working? Are you getting enough energy from the sun? Or how are how are you getting water from the ground? Is your plumbing working okay? What can I do for you? And you can energy work the tree. You can just say to the tree, I see your plumbing just working perfectly. And it's worked great on my land. I'm very lucky. I manifested some beautiful big white oaks on my land, and they're old, like almost as old as like the Revolutionary War, one of them. And it was really, really, I thought it was going to not make it through the winter. And so I went and I talked to the tree and asked what it needed. And it told me it wanted oregano oil. So I sprayed it all around. And then it said it wanted magnolia oil for relaxing, for its hibernation. And you should see it this year. It has a couple of dead branches, but it has completely leafed out and its aura is so big and strong. And so that's something that I've been playing around with because of Lisa and Honey and Barry. They've all encouraged me to just, be myself and, talk to the trees and be telepathic with them. And it's just amazing.
Wow.
And so the trees are so beautiful and they need our love. Like it was really, really dry here where I live last summer, and they were freaking out about making it through the summer. They didn't have enough energy in their roots. So that's why I helped the tree out. I was like, okay, well, what can I do? And it'll tell you what to do for it. It's so cool. Anyway, so that's that. I'm a healer and a farmer and a botanist and a clairvoyant, and I love this whole concept of the quantum. At first I was like, what is the quantum? I thought that was like physics, like And it's like, I was like, oh, that's what it is. The threads, the invisible threads that connect me with you and everything. And I was like, oh, I've done that all my life. All my life I've been with the trees and hanging out with them and feeling that love. So the trees love you, and yeah, they need love back. They need to know, like they were freaking out about like the stuff falling down from the sky, chemtrails. So they asked me to make them a tea of onion skins because onion skins have quercetin in them. And so then it helps them to move the metals out
Wow.
into the ground. So that's cool.
I
Anyway.
can see your passion. So you're not that shy when you get passionate, Liz. So thank you.
Okay.
And Liz is part of the quantum healings that we do. Honey and I are doing ours this Thursday, and Liz is amazing. She loves to help people
Thank you,
in
Lisa.
that
You're
too.
you're amazing. This is incredible.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. The next person we have is Renata Angelo. I met Renata from the movie Zero Limits. We were in together and she invited me to her red carpet premiere in Prague last fall. We had an amazing time. So she lives in Australia. She's from the Czech Republic. And so we did an event this morning. It was 6 a.m. Eastern time. So she's in all these time zones trying to cover the East Coast, the US, Australia, and Europe. So thank you, Renata, for being here. I so appreciate it. And her story is amazing. She healed herself. Actually, you can share that story, the firewalking story, if you want.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for the invitation, and what an honor to be here with all of you. And yeah, you mentioned firewalking. How I started with firewalking was when I was hit by a car in Australia. I became paralyzed from the waist down, learned to walk, but ended up with the chronic back pains 24/7. And after 1 year, doctors gave me told me that I'm partially disabled for life and I have to learn to live with the pain. And I decided that I'm going to search for any answer that could help me to self heal. And one of the things was that I came up with the idea of firewalking. If I could learn how not to feel the pain in my feet, that I could use the same strategy for my back. But I wasn't able to get to Tony Robbins firewalking. And so I decided to do it myself. But as Lisa said, English is not my first language coming up from Europe. So I translated fire walking as a walking on fire. I had no idea it's walking on the hot coals. So I started running the fire walking seminars and we walking knee high. We actually walk in the literal fire. It worked. I just didn't know that it's possible. And it was one of the journey how it started. And then 3 years later, from that accident, that was that dark night of the soul that I honestly thought I will be killed that day. And that's when I got on my knees and I've started acknowledging that intuition, that inner voice that was coming to me. And coming from Eastern Europe, where everything was about science, nothing about spirituality or God, it was such a shift for me. I'm like, what am I hearing? What is the inner voice? What is intuition? I didn't know. But on the day when I decided to honor that voice, listen to what it said, on that day, I experienced that I lie down on my bed and next to me there were beings of light who took a syringe this long and sucked out the pain out of my back with the words that it fulfilled its purpose, it's not needed anymore. And I was healed in that moment. And that's what I call quantum healing, because it's just shifted when we connected, when I connected to the God, to the universe, to the quantum field. I acknowledge it. I've took it that it's part of me, and I bet everything what I did in my life, all the money, time, energy, everything what I had, I was like, I will give it up all and just listen to that intuition and to that voice. And the pain wasn't needed anymore. So that gave me the message that anything that we have, any pain, any illness, it has a message for us to get the attention, to get back to our heart, get back to our soul. And I hope that this book will bring this inspiration and this message out to the world. So thank you, Lisa, for inviting me to be part of it.
Wow. Thank you so much. And just a quick footnote on that. I did a week-long firewalk training. And so I was trained that you create this bonfire and then you spread out the wood and you wait for the fire to die down and you walk on the hot coals. There's no heat difference. It's still hot, but people don't walk while the fire is still high. And so the people who do the training with Tony Robbins saw her online and contacted her and said, "What additional special training did you do to get people to walk across the actual flames?" We were laughing. She said, "It was just because I didn't understand English and I thought we were supposed to walk on fire." So when you don't know, you don't know what your limits are, you can do anything. And I just love that about her. So thank you, Renata. And next, I keep introducing people because I have to say, every single person in this group is a personal friend of mine. Like everyone who was in this book except one person I know in person and have a personal relationship with. And I just feel so blessed to have you all here. And I want to introduce you next. We have another animal communicator, Michelle Lowry, who is remarkable. I met her a number of years ago. We were actually studying from the same shaman, and we ended up roommates in Costa Rica together. And she blew me away with her talents and skills. So, Michelle, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, I have no words for how amazing this is. And I was thinking about it today, and you're this collaborator, this networking person. I mean, the number of times you contact me and you go, I need to introduce you to this person, and it's not because it's a business thing. It's just like these two great people. So I don't really know what I was going to talk about. I don't have the language that I'm hearing today at all. I believe I live in this quantum field all the time. It's just that I never labeled it as anything. It's just who I've become and where I am and what I do. And I'm probably going to cry telling this story because it's really, really new. But I met Alicia. Oh my God. I met Alicia through Lisa just a few days ago. It's all good, Alicia. It's all good. And we got talking and we started helping each other with our horses. So Alicia has four and I have a little mini named Sunshine, who is a heartfelt, divine, feminine goddess who has taught me how to be the same. And she channels poetry. So she's really quite something. And she's really struggled recently with inflammation in her body and not being able to walk. And she's really kind of scared me over the years a few times. And so Alicia offered to do one of her sessions after we traded. So I was helping her and she was helping me. So a few days ago, Alicia did her magic and we Zoomed it, and I watched my miniature horse totally stop grazing and pay attention to everything that Alicia was doing and talking about on Zoom. And then as Alicia was closing down the session, Sunshine went back to grazing. So even if you don't believe that remote is a thing, you can't deny that she stopped eating for the duration of the session. That was it. Anyway, so last night, she came in and she laid down and she was so sick. I almost called the vet, and I never called the vet for anything. Stomach was all bloated. She was breathing really heavy, and I'm going, oh my God, girl, what are we doing? And I'm doing all the stuff that I know how to do to help her, to support her, to guide her through it. Knowing the vet wasn't the answer, because nothing the vet would have suggested is anything I would have said yes to. And I just stuck with it, and I just trusted that we could do something about it. And I'm shoving all these like gut healing herbal remedies down her throat, and anyway, so then one of the people that lives at the farm said, why don't I come down and maybe we can get her to walk around? So she got up for him. She wouldn't get up for me. She got up for him and he took her outside and she walked better than she has in weeks. I mean, unbelievable. And anyway, so she came back in. She was a completely different animal in her ability to not have an inflamed body and not be in pain anymore. And so I went home last night. I came back this morning. She's integrating with the herd more than she's ever done. She's not isolating herself from the herd anymore, which is a herd she's known for about 6 years. And then while we were on this call, they sent me a video of her walking in from the field, and she's completely sound. And that's your work, Alicia, and I know it is. So I just felt the timing of this was so
And the
perfect.
dentist, because Sunshine said, I have to get dental done. And so luckily you are one of the few people that knows a dentist that like owns the farm, and she got her teeth done. And I said, look, the fascia will work, but if we have to get her teeth. And the cool part was she told us exactly what she needed and what was going on. So I'm so thrilled.
Yeah, I forgot about the dentist. That was like the key piece. So she got her dental done yesterday, and I believe the stress of her pain and inflammation and then having the dental just sent her over the edge, and we just had to wait it out. But I just feel so grateful, and it's just such a perfect example of, you know, where Alicia is right now physically on the planet and where I am right now physically on the planet, and how amazing this is with telepathic communication. And, you know, that's also what I do. I've been doing it for 25 years now. And as Alicia was saying, I've had one or two teachers along the way, but my teachers have been the animals. Every single animal that I work with or that joins my personal life has taught me something about myself that I needed to know to become a clearer channel and to be more open to not knowing anything. And the more I don't know anything, the more I can telepathically receive what these animals need and what they know they need, just like Liz was talking about the trees. They know what they need, and we just have to be quiet enough and present enough to listen to them and help them heal. So, you know, Sunshine knew there was a dentist on property, so she was all over that idea. And it's just amazing. My chapter in the book is about a 35-year-old horse that was severely abused on the track, and the woman that had him took him off the track, healed him, and he just lived a pasture life, totally out of pain, and she really turned him around. I worked with him a few times, and the chapter in the book is about how she called me in because he was having night terrors. And I know that there's always some other multidimensional reason for anything. And so it really was a way to bring everything I've learned about myself and channeling into a place of going, I have no idea why this horse is having night terrors, and I need to learn more. And so the chapter is all about what we did, how we communicated with the horse, what was needed, how this whole session brought in every aspect of everything I've ever learned, from shamanism to energy work to you name it, it came out in this session. And that night, there were no terrors, there was no kicking, there was no screaming, there was nothing. This horse had found its peace. And at 35, you would normally either put it down or medicate it, because obviously neurologically something must be wrong. And it wasn't. It was a much deeper story. So, you know, the more we can get out of the way and allow and open and surrender, as so many of you have said, and I've always believed we're all pieces of the puzzle and we all bring a gift. And, you know, networking with each other and sharing the gifts that we have and bringing that all together is the piece. You know, I have a piece of the big picture, and everyone else has their piece of that big picture, and we have to come together. We can't all know it all. So I'm thrilled. I love Lisa. We had a fabulous time in Costa Rica, chatting to a leaf bug in the middle of a healing session. So I got into trouble for that. But yeah, I'm just thrilled. I feel very honored to be here and to see so many amazing people and see people that I've already known. So thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
amazing.
so much. I want to introduce Susan, and I also want to make sure that Lisa Williams gets brought up because she was having some issues with her dog. So I want to make sure that she gets put up here too. We don't want to forget about her. The next person is someone who I have known for, I don't know, is about 15 years. Susan and I met at a networking event. I had just moved to New Hampshire and she was sitting next to me. And you know, when you have to get up and, say what you do in like 1 minute. And Susan had been there for a long time. I was brand new and I was so nervous. And I got up and I said, "Hi, I'm a hypnotist, I'm a Reiki master, and I'm trained in this special weight loss program, thinner band, where you hypnotize people to think that they've had gastric band surgery." And I sit down. Susan stands up. "Hi, I'm a hypnotist. I'm a Reiki master, and I'm trained in this special way of helping people lose weight through hypnosis, this thinner band hypnosis." And I looked at her and I was like in horror. I was like, "Who's this is so bizarre?" And she gave me the most beautiful words of wisdom, and I still hold on to them dearly. And she said,
Oh,
"We are not competition. There are people who are going to go to you and people who go to me, and we are going to send people to each other, and we are going to be best friends." And we have. And Susan, and she has one of the greatest senses of humor, and you'll see it in the book. And I asked her if I could use this one photo of her that has two sets of glasses on her head. So anyway, I will let you go on, Susan, but thank you so much for being here. I just love you so much.
oh, and I love you too, Lisa. Thank you so much for being my BFF. Uh, it was interesting listening to Dr. Northrup. All of a sudden, the thought came to me. I suddenly realized in hearing her talk, my whole life has prepared me for today. I'm still
Wow.
here. And I've been a nurse forever. I've been a nurse full time since 1965. I'm 81. And I've had my own business for a number of years now. And I teach hypnosis and I do the Reiki and all of that. And from Kevin Martin, really learned how to do the Ho'oponopono. I don't know if I still say it right or not yet, but we
No.
always, no, not right. But it works. It works.
She does the Ho'oponopono and she gets chocolate delivered to her front door. I
Yeah.
don't know, it's magic.
So
During COVID, she had chocolate chip cookies show up, chocolate Easter bunny show up. It was unbelievable. Every week, she's like, "Guess what showed up at my front door this time?" She manifests chocolate.
and about 3 years ago, I developed stage 3 negative breast cancer. And when I went in, and that's in the story. And being a nurse, we were trained to take care of the rest of the world, not ourselves. We never learned how to take care of ourselves. And we had kept taking care of people whether they wanted to be taken care of or not. So all of a sudden, I suddenly realized in going through this whole cancer treatment, it was one of the best things that ever could have happened to me. I was able to really take a good, solid look at who I was and who I am and how I got here and why I decided to be doing the holistic piece. All of these things got put together during my recuperation from the cancer, and I healed so quickly. And my first most important thing is my sense of humor. That's at the top of my list. And I told my doctor when I went in after the first week, the first day I had the chemo, and I went in at the end of the week, and the tumor was already had popped out of my breast. It was already getting smaller. And the doctor said, "I've never seen anything work so fast." I said, "Yeah." And I said, "I've just about lost all my hair the first week." And I said, "That is really exciting." She said, "How could it be exciting?" I said, "I don't have to pay $50 a month to get my hair done. And I now have $50 a month to spend on chocolate. So I'm happy." And it just went on, and the people showed up. I mean, it was just incredible. And so I had a chance to really take a look at why did I pick these things? Why did I pick the oh hopa oh no. Well, I did a lot of research on my ancestry and come to find out on my father's side, my grandmother, his mother, was I don't know how many times removed, but a cousin, which means I was a cousin to Titus Coan, who was the first missionary to the Big Island, Hawaii. And I'm saying, maybe that's why I'm interested in this ancient healing system from Hawaii. And he they fell in love with him. He had the biggest congregation in the world at the time in the 1800s. No transportation. He and his wife walked. They visited every single person on the island. And he learned their language, so he taught everything in their language. So then, on my mother's side of the family, I found out her last name was Kinghorn, and her whole family came over from the town of Kinghorn in Scotland. So my great great grandfather, they all settled in New Jersey, and I found out that he built the first railroad station at West Point. And Kinghorn, there's also a very some kind of relationship with the Queen Mum of England. I said, "Oh, this is good." And suddenly realized our our what do you call it? When you have the ladle, you know, uh, your I've totally lost the conversation. When you have a label, when it's translated, the Kinghorn Shield, it says it means, and he shall rise again. And I'm saying, well, I guess maybe that's why I believe in past lives. And it just has been going on and on and on. And I have been so, so excited. And my dear mother lived with me until she was 101 and a half. And she had the most phenomenal sense of humor. That woman could tell, she lived with me the last 12 years of her life, and she could tell a joke in a heartbeat. She's pulling them out of the universe. And I thought, oh God, please. I did a lot of praying. I started doing a lot of that. And I said, God, please help me here. I got to get her back really good. So at 100 years old, she had to go to the dentist and she still had every tooth in her head. And she said, Sue, will you do your hypnosis? She says, I hate dentists. I said, okay. One hearing aid she put down the garbage disposal by mistake. She thought it was a piece of cookie. And the other one was going to have to be fixed for $500. She says, I could be dead tomorrow. Forget it. They can keep their money. So I screaming in her ear the whole hypnosis session, and she zones out, comes out of it. I get her in the car, and she's meeting this dentist for the first time in her life. And his name was Dr. Wiener. And I said, now, Mom, there's something really important you have to realize. You've never met this man before. You do realize this is going to be the first time you've ever had a wiener in your mouth. Oh, God. And she got hysterical. She said, how could you do that to me? I said, well, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And she went in and had her two front teeth drilled down and capped with no Novocaine. So between the hypnosis and the laughter, she was fine. And this is how my
Wow.
entire life has been. I've never had any fear. Dying just never even came into the process when I was going through the cancer. And and I've got my cap on my head. We went to our second breast cancer gala the other night. So I made this cap which says hypnosis works. And I put the flowers in it and I thought, oh, I'm doing my advertising, aren't I?
There you
And we
go.
had a wonderful time. So the list just goes on, and I'm just so, so thrilled to be here because everything that I'm hearing, I have been experiencing. And I never was able to, putting the word quantum to it makes all the sense in the world. So it's like bringing everything together for me. So thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sue, and thank you for your
Oh, wait.
never-ending humor.
Oh, do you want a joke?
Really quick, of course, of course.
How the, how does a doctor cure an invisible man?
How?
He sends him to the ICU. Okay.
I love you so. All right. Next, we have Lisa. Lisa Williams, also fellow Vermonter and Reiki practitioner and beautiful soul. Thank you so much for being here, Lisa.
Thank you. Sorry for the interruption with Rink earlier, but I am so honored to be with all of you. I feel a little out of my league next to all of you, but so thank you, Lisa, for bringing us all together. Um, I feel like um, I've been trying to figure out how to word this, but I feel like my entire experience with quantum and living in quantum alignment is has been a lot maybe reversed compared to a lot of you. For most of my life, I just naturally lived in alignment with just anything and everything that wanted to present itself to me. And it wasn't until now, and I'm almost 60, so it was, everything came so naturally to me in my life. And I never really thought about it. I never really, I mean, I thought about it. I had very deep conversations with myself and with others. And I thought a lot about, everything that we're talking about here. But I never felt like I had to really try for life to just work out the way it was supposed to and or the way it did and it was all very good. Now I didn't I you know I guess my point is it really can happen for anyone and everyone. The challenge that I ran into as I got older was maybe I started thinking about it too much because I started feeling like things were, not happening after a while, as I got later in life. Things were not happening as easily as they used to. And I started wondering why. And it's almost like I don't know, when you're asked to do something and you can just do it, but if you think about it too much, it gets a little bit more difficult. And I felt like I entered that stage of my life. So, my the first five, almost 4.5 decades of my life was spent, everything worked out. I just, I could do this. And, I've heard a couple of people tonight mention that you just believe you can. It never occurred to me that I couldn't. It just never occurred to me. And so therefore it did. And as I got older and, we get maybe a little bit more set in our ways or, um, we start, life gets a little bit harder in phases of our life. And I started wondering, well, why aren't things like flowing like they used to? Why aren't they happening for me the way they used to? And on the one hand, they were, and I recognized that. On the other hand, it just felt like I wanted to go back to my earlier time in life where everything just flowed and came so easily without me really trying, without me thinking about it. And so it's really been fascinating to me to have to sort of take a step back and think about, how do I get back on that, like, on that easy train that I feel like I'd been on for so long, just living my life and living in alignment with everything that was coming my way. So that's kind of what my story is about, it doesn't once you achieve that, and to me, it wasn't even achieving, it was almost just an innate way of being for my entire life. And so now I'm in a different phase of my life where I feel like I'm having to work a little bit harder to get there. And so that's what my story in the book is about. And I'm fascinated by all of your stories and and what has drawn you to living in alignment and quantum healing and all of that. And, I think we all have something so special to offer. And Lisa, thank you so much for bringing us all together. And I'm just so honored to be a part of this collaboration with all of you, many of you who I know either remotely or in person, but thank you.
Oh, thank you. And one of the things that I think is so important about Lisa is that how open she is that, sometimes we're in flow and sometimes we're not, and that's okay. And she's very vulnerable about the idea that sometimes we just kind of get off track and that we can get back on.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate your vulnerability because sometimes people hear stories and they go, well, that's for everyone else, not for me. So I know we want to bring Sophia back up, and we have Joe Rosati. So if we can get Joe up here and Sophia to finish up at the end,
I
and
just
also,
wanted to like 10 seconds.
yep.
10 seconds to what Lisa Williams said. Lisa, so wonderful to see you again.
Good to see you too.
I recently encountered her at your house, Lisa, and I heard her part of her story, and the level on which she's talking about manifestation is extremely high. Just being able to manifest is not the normal manifesting story, Lisa.
Yes.
And I think that when you're talking about being able to manifest, it's like absolutely incredible stories about what and how she's been able to manifest things. I'm like, I've never heard anybody be able to manifest like that so
Yeah.
easy. So it's like it's not just your normal manifestation story that she's been. I was so impressed by what Lisa shared and how she just like how do things just flow to you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
thank you so much, Sophia, and I want you to stay
Thank you,
up here.
Sophia.
But next we have Joe, who's in Panama, and thank you so much for being here. Joe has been such a wonderful friend and huge supporter, and I so appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Am I coming through okay from
Yeah,
Panama?
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't even know the video would work. Well, it's an honor to be here. My name is Joe Rosati from Truth Stream. If you guys are not familiar with that, we've interviewed plenty of people. And it's been really easy. My latest project really has been promoting Lisa and Sophia and so now Sophia's work. And because it's there, I mean, it's great to promote people who also promote other people. It's pretty amazing. It's different than the world that many of us have been used to. And I'm also an artist. Sometimes Lisa has to remind me. Uh,
Amazing
I'm a
musician.
I'm a singer-songwriter. I've written five, I guess you could call them anthems for the Great Awakening, starting in 2020. And then I recently put out a cover of Over the Rainbow, the Judy Garland uh, song that people know, because I wanted to take the rainbow back because it's been stolen from us. And I had an amazing show with Kathy O'Brien and Lynn Scott Hagerman. And there's another lovely woman that was on the show, and I tried to look her up, but my internet's not that great. So anyway, but yeah, I've been hearing a lot of the amazing contributors to the book tonight, and then they made me a lobster dinner that they just caught out at sea, which was absolutely incredible. And so I had that. So I was going to show you guys around a little bit, but now it's dark. But I don't know. It's amazing. I've done a lot of really cool projects in my life, but they've been very, very challenging. And I've been in a lot of either toxic relationships, toxic friendships, different business partners in my life. And I'm really excited because all that it's what's amazing about having met so many people through Truth Stream is my friends are Lisa and Sophia and Honey. Like if I'm in a spot, like I was kind of in a funk for about a month, and I just called Lisa and Honey, and I'm like, what is going on? What do I need to do? I don't understand. And I'll just let you guys know. I've had two toxic relationships with females in my life. I stayed in them for too long. And the toughest, most challenging one for me is the one with my mother. And it's not like it's conscious. I don't think with my mom, it's just she's going through a lot of health problems. And but sometimes no matter what someone brings up, it doesn't work, or she's looking for a reason for it not to work, or what have you. So I've really struggled with this because it's kind of hard to say no to your mom and your family and people that you really love. But when I reached out to Honey and Lisa, I was able to kind of let certain things go, because this is my biggest, most toxic relationship in giving my power away. And I'm trying to do so, to do things with grace and respect to my mom. But it's really beautiful to have a tribe of amazing women where I can do this with grace and separate myself and step into abundance, because I've really struggled with that a lot of my life. So it's incredible to have this tribe. So that's a little bit about me. And yeah, if you want to see more about TruthStream, there's a site called Linktree, and you just type in TruthStream. It has all my music videos and links to what Scott and I do on TruthStream, etc. So anything else you need, Lisa?
Well, everyone's contact information is in the book. I tried to make sure that at
Yes.
the end of everyone's bio, their information is there, and everyone's interviews are on the landing page. So if you want to know more about people, please check the landing page. I want to thank you so much, and I know you've been so patient. I guess you had yourself named the wrong name on all night, so we didn't know
Yeah,
to
I think I
find
was
you.
Lori.
Lori.
There's a couple Loris out here.
Okay.
So
So
it's all good.
I want to bring back Sophia and Heidi. Sophia wanted to just give a quick some information about something that she and was going to be offering people who are here. And then again, today is the $9.99 special price. It's going to go up to $19.99 tomorrow. So if you want to buy extra books for yourself, please do. And this was like a dream come true. I couldn't even imagine all of these people. Like I literally looked at everyone today. I was like, I surrounded by the most powerful, amazing people. I just feel so blessed. So Sophia, thank you so much. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about what you wanted to offer people.
Yes. Would you mind bringing up a Lori too?
Oh, Lori Daniel Falk, please.
Yes. Our VP.
Okay, there she
Yay,
is.
yes. I can't do this without you.
Here I am with our chief heart officer who's getting a little hungry. So she needs the
The
mom.
the movement, I heard something very powerful this evening, and it was really taking it's the unifying aspect. We are quantum, and it was, I forgot who was saying that. It was the I am quantum. Um, Maybe it was Richard. I don't know. I forgot. But that's really what this is about. Is this is not just a book. It's a portal. It's a doorway for us all to walk through and to enter into something that is bigger than just us alone. Even though every single one of us is such an elemental part of the whole. It can't be whole without all the parts. But the question is, how does this continue? How do we take this energy? How do we take this momentum and turn it into something greater than us while at the same time being part of it? I'd love, Lori, for you to say something about what's coming. But we have a surprise for everybody.
Well, let me just tell you this. I'm pretty intuitive. No, I'm really intuitive. I do channel. I get really solid guidance. And my deepest inner knowing is that just like The Secret 2 decades ago went from a book to a movie to a movement, my deepest inner knowing is that We Are Quantum may only be a book now. The movie comes next, and the movement is for certain. And as Vice President of Brand and Strategic Influence for Find Your Mentor, which is a brand new ecosystem matching finders and mentors. I'm going to invite you to join our global community. We are Quantum. I've already posted it in the chat and I will post it again in just a minute. And let's keep this conversation going. It doesn't stop here. So many times you have a collaboration, a book that's a collaboration of authors like this, and everybody gets excited and it's book launch day and oh my God, isn't this fabulous? And then, shh. And I told Lisa and I told Sophia, not on my watch. We're taking this to the next level. So I invite all of you to join us in the We Are Quantum global community on Find Your Mentor, which is where you can access all the authors. You can interact with all the authors. You can ask them questions. You can interact with one another. It's going to be an incredible opportunity to really take this message to the masses, to the next level, because it's time. Just like The Secret came out just in time, it's time for us to let the world know that we really are all quantum, that we are multidimensional beings having a third dimensional experience.
Well, no more
Thank
third dimension. We're not in.
No.
We're already
Well,
moving out of that. But
so we're the book launch now, that is a virtual book launch. We're integrating into Find Your Mentor, and we're going to highlight each and every author. So we need the authors to complete the onboarding process, and also everybody here join Find Your Mentor, join the circle. The circle is the group, the community. And for everyone who joins, you have the opportunity to start your own community, to set up your own mentor profile, your finder profile. So there's a lot coming. I added my email address. Please contact me. We'll personally guide you into the platform if you need that. And this is new technology, quantum technology. So we want you on this journey with us because this is designed and built for you.
it's amazing if you're in any kind of business or teaching or mentoring at all or looking for someone. It's kind of I don't want to diminish it by this way, but I think of it like Match.com for people who want to find each
For
other. It's
knowledge,
for
yes.
knowledge. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
Match. So it's like if I didn't have to do the marketing part, I just get to do what I love to do. And
Right.
so
So much is
I
coming. Language barriers
yeah.
eliminated, like you name it. We're in this quantum tech era now, and it's all being rolled out. Bear with us, where we launched into beta, and bit by bit, everything's going to be rolled out, and um, will be available.
Awesome. So I just want, don't forget to also check the landing page. You can learn more about all the authors on the We Are Quantum page, and you can listen to all the interviews. And I want to thank Sophia and Lori for offering this to everyone. It's an incredible opportunity getting in from the ground up.
Thank you.
And for all of you who have been here.
Thank
I
you.
can't believe I thought this was going to be an hour, so I
I
apologize for
know.
going this far over. And everyone is invited to the future of We Are Quantum, Wednesday, June 24th at 8 o'clock p.m. So yes, quantum has no time, but I've been up since 4 this morning. But this is amazing. I love all of you, and I don't know if anyone has any quick questions before we go. I and let's see. Looking at yeah.
I love
So
you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
thank you. There we go. What a perfect way to end with the Ho'oponopono. And thank you, Heidi, for all of your magic behind the scenes. I so appreciate you.
Happy to help. For those of you that put your order or numbers in the chat, we will add you to the class for July 8th and watch for emails. If you have ordered the book, when you receive it, please, please, please give a review.
Yes.
That is such a big part of this movement, is letting people know how amazing it is. So please share the stories.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
to Lisa and all of the authors. You've worked hard, and I'm so proud of all of you.
Oh, thank you. This has been incredible. All right. I think it's time that we can wrap up. Is there anything people are just saying thank you? Okay. This is awesome. Let's see.
Perfect. Just wrap it up.
All right. Yes. All right. I was just making sure there wasn't anything. I keep saving and then people are adding more orders, so I'm trying to save the chat. Anyway, much love to all of you. And until next time, we want to keep this conversation going. Thank you again.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Lisa.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.